Okay, so assistive technology. As teachers, I think it's so important that we familiarize ourselves with the concept of assistive technology in our classroom because it's very likely we're going to have students in our class that are utilizing and hopefully benefiting from one of the forms of assistive technology. And to understand how assistive technology can be utilized by students with special needs, we first need to know what it is exactly. It's, well, the technical definition would be it's an encompassing term that includes assistive, adaptive, and rehabilitative devices for students with disabilities and also includes the process used in selecting, locating, and using them. Assistive technology promotes greater independence by enabling people to perform tasks that they were formerly unable to accomplish or had great difficulty accomplishing by providing enhancements to or changing methods of interacting with the technology needed to accomplish such tasks. So in layman's terms, it's pretty much anything that helps you do something that you couldn't have done otherwise, such as walk, communicate. One example that we see a lot is glasses. These help students read and just see the blackboard better. Let's see. And it's available for students with many types of disabilities, from physical impairments to learning and attention issues. Assistive technology is an example of a supplementary aid, and our textbooks goes into detail about that. And the supplementary aid, we know, is one of the components of special education, and these aids refers to all the items that can help a student be part of the general classroom. The difference between adaptive technology and assistive technology is that adaptive technology is designed specifically for people with disabilities. And I'm going to give you some examples of adaptive technology. These are mobility impairment with students who have mobility impairment, such as wheelchairs and walkers. Let's see. Well, we know that these are for disabled people who need additional assistance just to maintain balance or stability while walking, or who are unable to walk, who are unable to sit for a long time. So that's what walkers and wheelchairs are for. Let me see yeah. And then for visual impairment, some adaptive technology, they're screen readers, screen magnifiers, optical character recognition software, refreshable braille displays, and there's something called a Canadian currency tactile feature. This is actually a system of raised dots in one corner based on braille cells, but not standard braille. So those are some of the things that are available for visual impairment. And then augmentative and alternative communication for people who have difficulty communicating, and they have restrictions on the production of or comprehension of just the written language or spoken language. Some augmentative and alternative communication examples are just pictures on boards to help people communicate on what they want to eat, what they want to drink, or request care. Other more technologically advanced is speech generating devices. So those are some forms of adaptive technology tools, and those are built specifically for people with special needs. We're going to go on to talking about assistive technology tools. And I did a lot of research on assistive technology tools for cognition. And that's for students who struggle with reading, writing, math, listening, organization, and executive functions. And these tools range from very simple to very high-tech calculations. And this term has usually been applied to computer hardware and software and electronic devices, but now AT tools are so readily available on the internet. And then they're also available on phones with apps. So there's so many options for these tools now. And let's go on. So these are some assistive technology devices that I'm just gonna expand upon. Audio players and recorders. These help children to be able to listen to words as they read them on the page. Many ebooks have audio files, and smartphones and tablet computers come with text-to-speech software that can read aloud anything on your child's screen. So when the child struggles with writing or taking notes, an audio recorder can capture what the teacher says in class so then she can listen to it later at home. Again, when I was saying before about assistive technology, it's not designed specifically for students with special needs because many of us have used audio players and recorders, I'm sure. So it's not designed specifically for them, but it really helps them benefit them in the classroom. Okay, so timers. Some examples are wristwatches to hourglass timers. And these are usually expensive devices that help kids who have trouble with pacing. Timers can be used as visual aids to show how much time is left to complete an activity. So if the child has difficulty transitioning from task to task, timers can help him or her mentally prepare to make the switch. Reading guides are good tools for kids who have trouble with visual tracking or who need help staying focused on the page. The plastic strip highlights one line of text while blocking out surrounding words that might be distracting. And the strip is also easy to move up and down as your child reads. Again, I have sometimes used manual reading guides for myself when I'm reading. So these are good options for students with special needs. Seat cushions. They're basically an inflatable seat cushion that can help kids with sensory processing and attention issues. And the cushion can provide enough movement and stimulation to help a child maximize his focus without having to get up and walk around. And then FM listening systems. These stand for frequency modulation systems, can reduce background noise in the classroom and amplify what the teacher says. And this can help with auditory processing issues as well as attention issues. The teacher wears a microphone that broadcasts either to speakers around the room or to a personal receiver worn by the student. FM systems are also used to help kids with hearing impairment, autism spectrum disorder, and language processing issues. Calculators. We have all used calculators. But depending on the student's math issues, it might be appropriate for them to use a basic calculator in class. There are also large display calculators and even talking calculators. A talking calculator has built-in speech output to read the numbers, symbols, and operation keys aloud. It can help your child confirm that he has pressed the correct keys. Writing supports. If your child has trouble with writing, there are plastic pencil grips that can be used, or even there's so many software and hardware and computers. Basic word processing programs come with features that can help with spelling and grammar issues for students whose thoughts race ahead of their ability to write them down. Different kinds of software can help. With word prediction software, the child types first few letters, and the software gives word choices that begin with that letter. Speech recognition software allows the child to speak and have the text appear on the screen. These kinds of software are built-in features on many smartphones and tablet computers. I'm sure many of you have, I think one example would be autocorrect on our cell phones. Like when I text and it's just, they just make these options for autocorrect. Usually many times it's the wrong option, so that drives me crazy, but I think that's kind of the same concept of the writing supports. And then graphic organizers, they're for students who struggle with organization and executive functions. They can be low tech. There are many different designs you can print out that can help your child organize their thoughts for a writing assignment. There are also more sophisticated tools such as organizing programs that can help them map out thoughts. Let's go on to the next. So reading and writing. I guess I'm going to go into the main areas where assistive technology can be used for cognition. And there are a wide range of AT tools for students who struggle with reading. And while all the tools may work differently, all of them aid by presenting text as speech. So these tools facilitate decoding, reading fluency, and comprehension. And there are also arranged tools for students who struggle with writing. There are two categories of tools for writing. One for aiding in proper spelling, punctuation, grammar, word usage, and organization, and the other for helping bypass the physical task of writing. The AT tools for math are designed to aid students who struggle with computing organizing, aligning, and copying math problems down. And with the help of visual audio support, students can better set up and calculate math problems. And then for listening, there are some AT tools that can aid students who have a hard time in processing and remembering spoken language. Memory and organization. AT tools can help a person plan, organize, keep track of schedule, task list, manage, store, and retrieve information. And I'm just going to go through a list of assistive technology tools that are available. So for students who struggle with reading and writing, there's abbreviation expanders, alternative keyboards, portable word processors, proofreading programs, speech recognition programs, speech synthesizers, talking spell checkers and electronic dictionaries, variable speed tape recorders, word prediction programs, audiobooks and publications, graphic organizers, and outlining. For students struggling with math, what can help are talking calculators in general, electric math worksheets, and for students struggling with memory, freeform database software. You know what, I'm going to talk a little bit about freeform database software because I don't think we really talked about that. You know what, I'm going to... It's mainly for writing just things down, and then it's for memory, so it just keeps kind of... I'm going to get back to that one when I see it once. Okay, freeform database software. It's used in conjunction with word processing and other software, and this tool allows users to create and store electronic notes by jotting down relevant information of any length on any subject, and they can later retrieve the information by typing any fragment of the original note. And then we know what personal FM listening systems are. We talked about that. And then for students struggling with listening, the personal FM listening systems and audio players and recorders really help. For students struggling with organization and executive function, the information and data managers are key. So when selecting an AT tool, you have to ask 3 questions. What are the specific needs and challenges of the student? What are the strengths that can be utilized to help compensate for the disability? And what is the experience, skill, and interest in actually using the technology? The IEP, if a student has an IEP in place, the team is responsible for determining what type of AT is required in order to ensure a free and appropriate public education. The district is responsible for purchasing the technology and training the staff on how to use it. When there's no IEP but there's a 504 plan in place, the school is not responsible for purchasing or training. The plan does encourage accommodations, however, but the school must consider the assistive technology tool as an accommodation. What assistive technology will not do? It will not take the place of proper and good instruction, and it will not cure learning and attention problems. What assistive technology will do? It will ideally aid students in being able to work around their areas of difficulty. And the role of assistive technology is to assist and support in teaching. And ideally, it'll compensate for a student's disability by utilizing that student's strength and abilities.